What's up, everybody? This is Sea Lunch Sports. You're listening to Kennedy Curley, and Hayden Klinkhammer is on the other side of the mic. We are ready to talk about some things today. Russell Westbrook just got traded to the Heat last night, less than 24 hours ago. Did I say what?
You said the Heat, but
I'm sorry. That's been another thing. It was rumored to go to the Heat. He's going to the Rockets, and he's pairing up with James Harden, who he played with years ago. And this is actually right after we did our playoff predictions, so it's kind of funny that kind of puts a little bit of a wrench in things for us. But we can go ahead, and I guess we could do that again in this topic. But real quick, we're going to talk about that. Other things on the itinerary are going to be that we're going over the top three teams in the next 5 years. So 5 years from now, who are the top three teams that are best set up to rebuild or to have the young talent or whatever. And then after that, we've got our top 10 young players, meaning on their rookie contract now. So we're going to go ahead and start with the most relevant one, though, and that is Russell Westbrook is going to the Houston Rockets. So, Hayden, what is your general reaction to that whole situation?
Well, when I first found out, I laughed. I think we both know I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan. I'm sorry, I said his name wrong. Westbrook fan. Also, I can't stand James Harden. So, it just made it easy for me to now all I have to do is to keep track of my two least favorite players in the NBA. I just watched one team. So my initial reaction was I laughed. There are some people that are trying to act like Russell Westbrook makes them over the top, puts them over the top in terms of, being serious contenders. And honestly, I'm not that team does not scare me. I think the West is way too loaded. I think Russell Westbrook in a Mike D'Antoni system, especially with the way the NBA is now, where that Rockets team shoots more threes than anybody, and you have a guy who likes to shoot a lot of threes but shot 29% from three the last year. His career average is 30% from three. So, never been the most efficient scorer. So yeah, to me, I just, yes, he's more athletic than Chris Paul. You only gave up Chris Paul, I guess. But at the same time, I think the West is way too good. I just don't see how this puts the Rockets any closer to winning a championship than they were when they had Chris Paul.
Interesting. So I think in looking, I think I agree with you on a good chunk of what you said. That being that the West is tough, and I think everyone knows that the West is tough. But if I were to look at my playoff ranking, I believe I had the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, and then Rockets.
Mine doesn't change.
Mine changed. I flipped the Jazz and the Rockets. So as much as the Jazz were actually a big winner in this offseason, there were a lot of other winners in this offseason too. The Rockets just won. Now I'm with you. They it's not like they're going to shoot the three any better than they were. But you have two guys you have to really, really match up. Russell Westbrook is still one of the most athletic players in the league, and he can still get to the rim at any point. James Harden can get to the rim at any point. So their inside game is phenomenal. Outside, they have shooters on the team that can make up for Westbrook's lack of shooting. Defensively, if he's trying on defense, he's going to be able to play well on defense. He's not always trying, but when he tries, he's actually fairly good.
Mhm.
James Harden, that actually will probably help next to James Harden because James Harden, we know, can't play defense. And then you still, I mean, the thing for them is I thought that they were going to have to give up more than they did. Just Chris Paul and, what was it, 2 picks and then 2 pick swaps?
Yeah.
I think that,
Yeah.
what were they, the 20?
It was 2021, 2023 swaps, and then 2022, 2024 straight up first rounders.
Okay, so maybe the 2024 first rounder comes into play and actually ends up being good for them, but the pick swaps 2021, I don't think's going to do anything. They'll still have those like they're still going to be a good playoff team for the next probably 3 years until those guys are off of their contracts. But I mean, I think that to me, I already had them as a contender. They were my. I had 3 tiers of contenders on our last podcast episode. I had the top favorites, the Lakers, Clippers, and Bucks.
Yep.
And my second tier was Golden State, Denver, and the 76ers. I think I might move Houston up to that tier, but they're still not a favorite. They were already a contender, in my opinion, just less of a contender. Now they're a little bit more of a contender. I think that it was a great deal for them, in my opinion. A great deal, and the reason why is because you gave up Chris Paul and a few picks that probably aren't going to be that giant. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to be lottery picks until maybe the 2025. Is that the right one?
2024. 2025 is the swap.
One of those ones off in the distance might be a good pick. Anything in the near future, probably not.
On that note, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but so 2022, you think the Rockets are still in the playoffs?
2020.
2 years from now.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. I mean, both Westbrook and James Harden will be on their contracts. I think that you can make the case that Westbrook is going to decline a little bit until then, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep them out of the playoffs. And then James Harden, a lot of his game it's kind of athletic based, but not really. It's a lot of positioning and his step back. And he's actually probably a lot smarter of a player than people give him credit for.
Oh, he's incredible. I mean,
he's too smart. It's actually annoying how smart he is.
Yeah.
And so I do think that they'll be in the playoffs at that point. I think that the biggest thing that they get from that pick is the 2024 pick swap, or the last pick swap and the last straight up first round picks. I don't have the numbers memorized, but
yeah, it's the straight up 2024, which I think at least by then that's a lottery, but that's so far away that it's like I agree. I mean, what they gave up was not a huge haul, but also at the same time, it's because no one wanted to take on Russell Westbrook, to be honest, outside of Miami.
I disagree a little bit because I think that there were a few teams in there. The Magic, I think, would have taken Russell Westbrook, and they would have probably given them. You got the Pistons that were willing to give up enough to get Russell Westbrook. The Heat wanted to get him. The Rockets obviously wanted to, but I think when it comes down to it, a lot of people don't realize, but agents and players who've been playing for teams for a decade or longer or shorter, give or take a few years, they have a lot of say in where they want to go, because if you don't trade a guy who's been on your team, like I'll give you an example. So if Dirk, right before he, when he was 32 or something like that, he was looking at possibly going somewhere else. He's becoming a free agent, and then he decided to say, if he said he wanted to get traded, but the Mavs just traded him to whoever gave the best offer, that would have burned a bridge. Yeah. And in the NBA, you don't burn bridges. Dirk doesn't have an agent, so that's a bad example. But Russell Westbrook has an agent. You don't burn bridges with guys, superstar agents.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that the deal there, they probably honestly could have gotten a better deal than Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul was that good of a return for the Thunder.
Go ahead. When you're done, I have a point about Chris Paul and the Thunder.
Yeah, my point is, I just think that I honestly think that maybe the Rockets didn't give the best offer out. That maybe other teams were willing to offer more. Like the Magic, they had Aaron Gordon. You have Mo Bamba. You have, Markel Fultz. If you want to take a chance on him, you might have been able to get all three of them and picks.
Yeah.
The Magic, I think, would have actually been one of my more ideal spots for them. Same with the Bulls. Agree. Maybe you could have gotten Zach LaVine and future picks, things like that. But at the end of the day, I think that this is one of those things that I think that shows you that relationships with agents matter, and that's why he's in Houston. He wanted to be in Houston, in my opinion.
Yeah. 1,000%. Also, he stayed loyal to that franchise after everyone kind of, essentially buried them, wrote them off. So I thought that had a lot to do with them being like accepting on where he wanted to go. And then, the whole Chris Paul thing, I've been hearing a lot that the Thunder are still trying to move him for assets and completely start over. The Heat have been talked about, but I just saw earlier that the Heat are interested, but they're not going to make a major effort to go after him. So that's interesting to me.
I think that the Heat would be really stupid. And as a matter of fact, I think pretty much any team would be really dumb to take Chris Paul at this point. Houston was a fine fit for him. He was doing well. He wasn't the primary ball handler there, but he was actually a pretty decent part of the system, especially at, 34 years old?
Yeah.
3 years left on his contract. I don't think that any team, unless they're contending, which I don't think that the Heat are contending, nor do I think that Chris Paul would make them a contender. I don't think that any team should want Chris Paul. He's making way too much money. I think he's owed 120 over the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Unless you're contending, or unless he makes you a contender, I wouldn't trade for him at all.
No, I agree. I'm
trying to think of who would even, other than the Heat, possibly be a good contender for him.
Detroit? No, because Blake's there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wouldn't that be freaking ironic?
Yeah. Maybe if the Wizards really want to get rid of, what's his name? John Wall's
contract. Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, still, I think
at the same
John Wall's
point,
is better.
Yeah. I'd take John Wall at this point 1,000 times.
Even with his Achilles injury.
Oh yeah. How you said Chris Paul has how much left on his deal?
It's 3 years. His last year is a player option, I'm pretty sure, but
yeah,
I don't see a way that he's going to opt out of that. He's going to get paid 30-something million.
Yeah. John Wall just signed his 5-year contract this last year, right? Was it a 5-year deal?
Was it last year?
Hang on. I'm looking now. Oh, John Wall contract. Yep. It's a 4-year deal with a player option, which is $46 million in 2022-23. So yeah.
He's set.
Yeah.
He's set.
He literally doesn't have to step foot on a court ever again. And man, that's crazy.
Well, how do you feel about the deal, the Russell Westbrook deal from the Thunder's standpoint?
I mean, if you're fully rebuilding, picks are still picks. Especially if you get, 2 of them are swap. So you get to choose which you want, essentially. I know it doesn't make that much of a difference, but I mean, still, first-round picks are first-round picks, plus everything else that they already got from the Clippers. Plus, to me, I think they have their potential point guard of the future in Shai Alexander. I think he's at the very least, a solid point guard. So, they got Gallinari and who else?
I think it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Gallinari, and then all those picks.
I swear they got one more. Hang on. I thought it was a another player.
Yeah, my thoughts on it are not necessarily. I think that as, gosh, I'm trying to think. My only issue with them in that Russell Westbrook trade is that they got Chris Paul out of it. The picks are fine.
Yeah.
Picks are fine. I think that they got, two picks for Russell Westbrook and then two pick swaps. That's great. And I agree with you. I think that one of those pick swaps could be really big, especially with the Clippers trade as well. That one of those pick swaps could be really good down the road too. And that's what worked out for the Celtics so well when they traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all that. They got those pick swaps, and that ended up working beautifully for them, except that they just never were able to really land a great draft pick from it. But no, yeah, I think that was a solid trade from them. My only question is, what are you going to do with Chris Paul now? That's my only issue. But you got picks.
Yeah.
You got it working out. So.
My only thing with that is, I don't think they're expecting to contend anyway in the next 3 years. So basically, he's just a big contract on, a bad team that's not expecting to go after free agents anyway.
Yeah,
I get where you're coming from.
3 years. That's.
Yeah, no. I get where you're coming from. That's a lot of money to pay, someone that is definitely no longer what he used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess my only issue with it is that I wouldn't mind if he was a Tim Hardaway Jr. type of contract where it was just around $20 million, but you got to deal with someone taking about a third of your salary cap. You can draft, you can build through the draft, you could probably even build through trade, but it's going to be hard for them to get free agents. Really, even role players just at reasonable prices, just because now you have a guy who's taking $40 million.
I agree.
That's my only issue.
It's a long-term move for sure.
Once they get rid of the contract, they'll be fine.
Yeah. That's pretty much it on that.
Yeah. Well, transitioning to our next topic, we have our top 3 teams in 5 years. I think this plays well, actually, because one of the teams that we just talked about is one of my top 3 teams set up for the next 5 years. This doesn't mean that in 5 years they're going to be, the 3 top NBA teams in the league. I just think that right now, as it plays out, these are the teams that have the most now that will probably make them. You know what I'm trying to say? I got you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to explain it to anybody who listens. I guess the top 3 teams with the best assets going into the next 5 years. I guess it is the top 3 teams that we see going into the next 5 years, honestly.
Yeah.
So I guess to start things off, I'll go ahead and start with my 3rd team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have all these picks. They just got, 5 first-round picks from the Clippers?
Yeah.
And two pick swaps?
Yeah.
For Paul George, they also have Danilo Gallinari and not Landry Shamet, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, as you said, could be their point guard of the future. You add that with a bunch of top picks, and not only that, but they're going to have good picks of their own. Now that they're kind of tanking it a little in the lottery, they're going to have their own good picks, especially in the West, because you can pretty much eliminate them from the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Barring Danilo Gallinari going off for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, escalating his play. So I think that they're a lottery team now. They have all these picks as well. And if they don't even use the picks, they can probably trade them. Maybe Ben Simmons will one day want to get a trade from Philadelphia, and maybe the Thunder will want to get him. So I don't know. But the fact they have so many assets now that I have a hard time seeing them as anything other than like a contender pretty much in the next 5 years. The other team that I have right in front of them are the Pelicans. And that's because while the Thunder have a lot of picks going forward, we don't know what that looks like just yet.
Exactly.
We don't know who their players are. But with the Pelicans, we do know that Zion Williamson is there. We know that Jackson Hayes is there. You and I both like him. You might like him a little bit more than I do, but I really do like him. And we saw him. He's been really killing it in the Summer League too. So you got that. The rest of their team is really young. And once again, they're a team that we're not entirely sure that they're a playoff team this year, so they could be in the lottery. Maybe they get lucky again.
Yeah,
And
that would. Yeah, I don't even know what I would do at that point.
I think, yeah, if Zion Williamson can play up to his potential, then they could be a contender in 5 years. Not only that, though,
1,000%.
not only that, I think he could actually make New Orleans attractive. Like some free agent might want to
no,
give up
I
Zion
agree.
Williamson.
I agree.
And so
What I found is, go ahead.
Sorry, what were you saying?
This is just coming from being involved with sources with the Saints and all that different type of stuff. Drew Brees, I don't know if you saw this from the ESPYs even, but he's been a very aggressive in terms of trying to pass the torch to Zion. So I think he's doing a lot of things. Zion is gonna bring attention to the Pelicans no matter what. So I agree with that. Attracting free agents.
No, I agree. And then number one, Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Their team is already pretty young at the core right now. You've got Jokic is locked up for a while. If he's not, then he's about to be. You just signed Jamal Murray long term, and they're already a contender now. They've also been making big moves with that have been kind of under the radar because they've been injured guys, but they could also be really good in Michael Porter Jr. and Bol. And so if those guys end up being really good, then that's a great team. Just those 5 players right there, Bol, Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Jamal Murray, and then any role players that they have. And they've been good at getting these role players. Yeah. Gary Harris is there. He's still young.
Malik Beasley, I mean,
they have a great team, and they have a great team now. But as I said, in 5 years, those guys are going to be in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
They could win a championship, and if they win championships, then I don't see any reason why they would want to leave. So
I agree.
That's my number one team. They surprised me because a few years ago people were saying, "Oh, you got to watch out for the Nuggets. You got to watch out for them." I'm saying, "No, you don't." And it wasn't until this year that they really took off.
Yeah.
But in years past, they were always that team of, "Oh, they could be next. They could be next." And I was like, I don't think they're next just yet. Give them another year or two. This year was finally the year that I was caught off guard. I thought it would be maybe another year, but they're a great team, and I think that 5 years from now, that's going to be a team to stop.
1,000%. So my list is basically exactly the same as yours, but obviously I have the Thunder at number 3. I think that's easy, especially the more and more picks that they continue to add. They kind of, at the moment, are going the direction of the Celtics type of, acquire all these assets and then wait. So I think potentially, if the picks are used correctly, that 5 years from now, the Thunder could be back in contention. They added Shea. They added Gallinari, who I don't know. How old is Gallinari? I feel like Gallinari's been around for forever, but then
he's about 30.
So okay. So, he probably won't be in the picture 5 years from now, but, they added a bunch of picks. And like you said, their own picks are going to be, I'm guessing they're going to be pretty bad. They're going to be lottery picks. So I think that one's pretty easy. At number 2, I kind of cheated and put 2 teams because I felt like if I left this team out, then I would kind of seem like a hypocrite. So I have the Pelicans, and then in parentheses, I have the Kings also because I think De'Aaron Fox in 5 years will be the best point guard in the NBA. Yes, I said that. Yes, you heard me correctly. So, I think the Pelicans definitely are set up for, Zion, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram. Like you said, even if they miss the playoffs, they could get lucky again in the lottery. Plus, I think Zion is a transitional type talent, so I think that adds, automatically to that list. And then obviously the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, Buddy Hield, they probably won't ever attract big time free agents, but I think that their core guys are still young enough that if they continue to develop, they could be effective.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't decide between number 2, and then like you, number 1 was easy. Denver, Jokic, Jamal Murray, who we talk about a lot. Gary Harris could be that shooter, that role guy. The 2 wild cards that could end up being superstars, Michael Porter Jr., who's supposed to play this year, and then Bol, who, when he was somewhat healthy at Oregon, he looked like a unicorn. So yeah, I don't think that's close at all. They're all young, and they were the number 2 seed. They led the Western Conference for most of the year. So yeah, I don't think that's a question at all.
Yeah, I mean, as you said about Bol, he was someone who very well could have been a top 3 pick.
Oh yeah.
Maybe top 2 even.
Yeah.
He was really putting up numbers. He's, as you said, a unicorn. 7 foot. What is he? 7 foot 2, 3?
Yeah, something like that.
Something ridiculously long. He's actually able to move, and he can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's long enough to play defense. That's one of the things that he was scouted as being a shot blocker, and so. But even just Jamal Murray and Jokic, and the 2 of us are obviously big on Jokic. Jokic, I think he's going to be an MVP candidate this season. You do too, and just him going forward. You've got Murray going forward, and then the Nuggets front office, and I mean just the chemistry that they're going to build over these years. Gary Harris is going to still be there. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be there still, but I just don't see how they wouldn't be a contender, one of the favorites at that point, unless something goes wrong. There's always something that could happen with these teams too. Yeah. You said the Kings. My thing with the Kings was I didn't have them in my top 3 anyway, but I also could. They're the Kings. There's something about the Kings that always ruins itself.
Lottie Divac runs their front office. So
I could honestly see them having a few more disappointing seasons.
Oh, I agree.
Then De'Aaron Fox wants to get traded or something like that.
I agree. 1,000%. I just had to put them in because I felt like I talk so highly about
they're a good team for this.
They are and how young they are, and
Well, it's interesting actually. So Buddy Hield won't be old, but he's actually 26. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
25 or 26.
Yeah, 26, I think.
Yeah, he is 26. So he'll actually be 31 at that point.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean that's still, James Harden, all them guys, Russell Westbrook, they're all 30, so that's going to be a fun team to watch. But
it's not like his game isn't based off athleticism, so usually he's a shooter really more than anything. So they age better, I should say.
Well, and it's also as a I'm a kinesiology major, and you don't need to be a kinesiology major to know this, but your body starts to break down generally around the 30-ish age, but it's not like it just falls off a cliff. It takes time to, on average, it takes time to deteriorate, and he's only going to be 31, so it's not like it's going to be a huge drop off for him. It can be. Sometimes that happens, like in the case of Carmelo Anthony and, Darren Williams just seemed to fall off a cliff, and other guys like that, but generally it's not that case. So I do like the Kings. Not one of my top 3, but still nevertheless probably top 5. But anyway, transitioning, I have a few Kings players on my next list. players on the rookie contract. We're going to do our top 10 since we're in the spirit of celebrating the young up and coming.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. How about you start this one?
All right, I will gladly do that. Should I start from 10?
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably right. All right. So at number 10, I have Jaren Jackson.
Okay.
You know, someone that didn't really get talked about a lot this year, but I thought once Marc Gasol left and he kind of got the bulk of the minutes, I thought he played really well. Another unicorn type of guy. He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot. He's a really good defender. Plus, he's going to be having John Morant feed him for the next 5 years. So, that always helps. Plus, I think his rebounding numbers were so low because of the whole having to share with Marc Gasol and not going from there. And I honestly, I'm not worried about that. I think they'll continue to go up. And even if they only stay around like 9 to maybe 10, I still think that's all right as long as there's other guys on the team that are rebounding. For example, John Morant, we talk about Russell Westbrook type athleticism. So, yeah, I have him at number 10. At number 9, I have Trae Young. Not explosive. Dynamic, good passer, really good shooter. Started figuring out how he can play in the NBA the second half of the season. I joked on here just to get a rise out of Ian, but that he should have won Rookie of the Year. But I mean, he made a push. Because at the All-Star break, it was Luka and no one else. And at the very least, people talked about Trae Young. So I think he has. To me, he reminds me more of Steve Nash than Steph. I think he's quick, and I think if he can kind of be more of a facilitator than a Steph, shoot a whole bunch of times, then I think he'll have a better career for it. And plus now he's got 2 young wing guys that continue to grow with him. So they can kind of hide him on the defensive end because that's always going to be his liability. But I think offensively, he's too talented to not be up there. Especially guys on rookie contracts. And this next, okay, so number 8, I didn't know if he was still on his rookie contract or not. I thought he was, but at the same time, I also don't watch this team very much at all. Wendell Carter.
Yeah, he was just. I'm sorry, he was just drafted in the same class as Luka and Trae Young and all of them. So he's on his rookie contract.
Okay.
I'm just. I paused because I could have swore that you said Wendell Carter was going to be better than Trae Young.
I did.
And Jaren Jackson.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I said. Yes. That's exactly what I said. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you to anyone who's been listening.
That is exactly what I said. Yes.
All right, well.
Wow.
You could be right. You could.
Better rebounder. Better defender. Arguably, in the next 5 to 7 years, going to be on a better team. Yeah, to me, that's not that shocking. Yes, you're pulling up stats. I know. I can see your eyes moving. I can see your eyes moving. You're going to be really surprised with the next one then.
Oh, gosh. Get it over with.
Are you waiting for me? I thought you were pulling up stats.
No, I was just pulling up stats because I was curious. But
Oh, okay. What did you find?
So I saw that he averaged 10 points a game this season, 19% 3-point shooting.
Mm-hmm. He's not a three-point shooter, yes.
Not yet. I will say I actually don't mind Wendell Carter. I thought that he was actually a pretty solid pick for the Bulls last year. 7 rebounds a game, not incredible, but rookie stats are overall pretty good. 48% shooting. So I mean, it's not great for a center, but it's not like, I guess it's rookie stats once again. He had a solid rookie season. I thought that he was a pretty good player at Duke. But in looking at him, I don't think that he's dynamic. I think that he's going to be a pretty good guy, like in the Serge Ibaka range, maybe, of guys who can make your team a better team, but maybe not necessarily be that star player. That's just my opinion. I think that Trae Young could be that guy. So that's where I was a little surprised. But I mean, I would probably put him in my top 20, maybe.
Wow.
Top 20.
So is Jaren Jackson going to be the best player on his team in 5 to 7 years?
Probably not.
Okay. So that.
But it could be up for debate. I think that Jaren Jackson looks more dynamic than Wendell Carter.
Sure.
Now and going forward.
Yes. But I don't know, something about Jaren Jackson almost looking soft in terms of being physical, getting pushed around, trying to rebound.
I agree.
So yeah, I think I'm taking right here. I'm taking just being a solid star over terms of shooting for the moon. Because I actually thought about, putting Mo Bamba. Spoiler: Mo Bamba's not my top 10, but he's in my top 15, just based on the fact that
if he can find a way to leave Orlando, or if they can find a way to get rid of Richardson, I actually think that you might be right.
Exactly. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. What are they doing? What is Orlando? I don't understand. Anyway, so next, I have the next Dirk.
Stop.
Lauri Markkanen. Bye. Everyone say bye to Kennedy. He's just mad. He's mad. Lauri Markkanen is a beast. Lauri Markkanen is going the exact way that the NBA is going. Big man that can shoot. Big man that can score. Big man that can rebound. And he's going to be next to Wendell Carter, so he doesn't even have to guard the best team's big man. And I'm getting messages right now that people agree with me that Lauri Markkanen is going to be the next Dirk. I'm just saying. I mean, he's a cold-blooded flamethrower. I'll go this far. Everyone listening right now, Lauri Markkanen will end up with more championships than Dirk. Look, he had to go get his cup to make himself feel better that Dirk only ended up with one title. Lauri Markkanen will end up with more rings than old, washed-up Dirk Nowitzki.
That's great. I needed to go cool off for a second.
Come on,
get some water to cool off in my Dirk Nowitzki cup. You see this? Let's go, Mavs. My Dirk Nowitzki souvenir cup. Did you just come up with random opinions about Lauri Markkanen?
No.
And compare him to Dirk Nowitzki?
I
put him number 7. You said the next Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah,
Number
I
7.
said he could potentially be better than Dirk.
What is wrong with you?
He's more athletic and just as good a shooter and a better rebounder and plays on a better team in the next 5 years.
Do you think that the Bulls are going to be a better team in the next 5 years? I guess if you think that the Bulls with Wendell, if you're that high on Wendell Carter, then you probably.
Kobe White.
I'm not that high on Lauri Markkanen. I think he's good, but he's.
What about your boy Kobe?
I love Kobe White. They'll be a playoff team in the next 5 years, but Lauri Markkanen, and yes, I am looking up his stats. Yes, from what I understand, plateaued a little bit.
Interesting.
Better shooter.
Better shooter. Yes. Then Dirk. Yes.
What are you talking? 36% from 3?
Mm-hmm.
Better than Dirk. 43% overall.
How many did he take and make?
How many did he take and make?
Yeah.
36%. That's what I'm saying. But take and make.
How many did he take and make?
He shot 2 per game, 2.1.
He made.
No, sorry. He shot 5.9 and made 2.1. Dirk, let's go ahead and look up Dirk.
Let's look at Dirk's stats.
And by the way, I just want to say I don't want to hear Dirk, rookie season Dirk, because rookie season Dirk we all know was bad.
Just so like why can't Lauri Markkanen continue to grow into that?
Well, okay, so let's just go off of this real quick. So Dirk, rookie season, bad. We all know that. Second season, escalated very big.
Hang on. What? Can you read us Dirk's rookie season stats, please?
Yeah, they were 8. No one cares about his rookie season stats because he made up. He escalated at a higher rate. He had a higher. If we're talking about just calculus, he had a higher derivative than Lauri Markkanen, who started off better, but he's not going to ascend the same way that Dirk.
How do you know?
8.2 because we've seen 2 seasons of Lauri Markkanen, and we've seen
2 seasons.
He didn't get that much better, and he was still the best scorer on that team because of Zach LaVine. But
that's okay.
But Dirk in his second season already shot.
Did Lauri Markkanen have Steve Nash feeding him the ball?
No.
Oh, okay, interesting. Go ahead.
Why does that matter that much?
Do point guards especially when Dirk was first coming in, point guard facilitating the big men? That was a huge.
It wasn't like Steve Nash was just creating all the open shots for Dirk in the world, and he was just benefiting astronomically from Steve Nash, and it was only Steve Nash. No, Dirk was doing his one-legged fadeaway when Steve Nash was in the league. Dirk was creating his own shots when Steve Nash was in the league.
So let's hear Dirk's stats. Let's hear Dirk's stats.
From his career stats, from his rookie year, it was 8 points a game. I said 8 points a game, 40% field goal percentage.
Oh,
20%
really?
from
Okay.
3.
How much?
20%.
Oh,
that doesn't matter. Sophomore year, he was already shooting better than Lauri Markkanen in his sophomore season.
Okay, what did he
46%, 17.5 points. 46%. This is also in a slower paced league, so let's just keep that in mind. 46% from the field, 38% from 3. Whereas Lauri Markkanen has actually dipped just a little bit in his percentage, just a little bit. It hasn't been a crazy amount, but really the only difference in Lauri Markkanen has been that he's just taken more shots and played more minutes. He hasn't ascended that much. He's not going to be Dirk.
So what happened between Dirk's second season and his third season?
He ascended even more.
To what?
22 points a game. So on 39%.
Let me go ahead and say this right here, right now, for everyone that is listening. Lauri Markkanen will average 20 points a game on close to 40% shooting from 3 this year.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
That's in the same career line as Dirk, except he had a much better rookie year where he didn't shoot 29% from 3.
So is Lauri Markkanen going to be better than Dirk by the time that his career is done?
No,
okay,
I said
that's all I want to clear up. That's all I want to clear up.
Markkanen has a chance to be on Dirk's level. Yes.
I'll give it like a 2% chance.
Maybe not for as long, because I don't think anyone can take away from the longevity of how long Dirk was at least effective. I think most Mavs fans make it longer than he actually was still effective, but
he was effective up until last season.
See,
not the very last season, like 40-year-old Dirk. 39-year-old Dirk was effective. He wasn't a star. He was effective.
Okay.
And that was his last effective season.
26 and a half minutes played per game. Are you talking about that season?
No, I'm talking about the season after. 24 and a half points a game.
Minutes a game. 45% shooting, 40% from three. 12 points a game.
Yeah. As a 39-year-old, that's awesome.
12 points a game.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
90% on the free throw shooting.
Yeah, I mean he's a efficient shooter.
2 seasons before then, when he was 37, he was averaging 18. The season before that, he was an all-star. The season before that, he was an all-star. That was 35 and 36 years old.
At 36, Kobe averaged 22 points a game. At 37, he averaged 18 points a game.
Okay.
Up until he was 34, he averaged 28 points a game.
You're talking about Kobe.
No, I'm
at 30
reading,
what?
I'm reading similarities.
At 36, Kobe shot 37% from the floor.
But efficiency doesn't matter, Kennedy, remember?
Wait, who said that?
You.
When did I say that?
You make the argument all the time. I
don't. No, I do not.
Yes,
no, I don't. No, I say that the only time that I've ever said that is that Russell Westbrook. As a matter of fact, actually, I came up with the list because I was prepared for this. Russell Westbrook shot 43% from, like, as a career shooter, he's 43%. I saw a list of people who were about in the same percentage range as Russell Westbrook, around the 43%.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them might surprise you because you actually like a lot of these guys. And so I'm going to read some of these guys as soon as I find it. But I'll give you one that's probably going to be on your list. Jamal Murray. Damian Lillard is on that list.
Jamal Murray has been in the league for...
But I thought we were talking about efficiency.
We are. I never claimed Jamal Murray was an efficient player. What did he shoot?
But you love Jamal Murray.
What did he shoot from three?
What did he shoot from, 36% this year?
36%. Russell Westbrook.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm pulling that out of my butt. But
Westbrook would be praising the gods if he shot 36% from three. Jamal Murray shot 25 times a game. I promise you he'd put up the same stats as Russell Westbrook.
No, that's false.
Yeah.
That's false.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Also,
I actually can't find this list.
Kevin Durant on his team. If Jamal Murray had Kevin Durant and James Harden and Serge Ibaka on his team, Jamal Murray would shoot a whole lot better than Russell Westbrook. Let's get that settled first.
I can't find the list. Lucky day for you.
Oh.
But I'll find it one of these days and
let's hope so.
If it's we'll come up with it. But anyway, I never said that efficiency didn't matter. All I was saying is that Russell Westbrook isn't the most efficient shooter, but he's efficient as a passer. He's efficient as a rebounder. He's efficient at a lot of other things.
So he's a stat patter.
He's an efficient player. He's not an efficient scorer all the time.
He's a stat patter.
You can make that argument, sure.
Okay.
He's a good.
Thank you.
They made the playoffs because of Russell Westbrook.
When
he won the MVP. Were they not going to win it?
Okay. So one season. Sorry, one season. What
there
else?
Was another season before then too, when Kevin Durant was actually no, they didn't make the playoffs that year. That was he was also partially injured that season. So if he was playing that whole season, they probably would have made the playoffs. But anyway, I care about efficiency. Let's not make up lies over here.
Okay. What? Kobe.
What about Kobe?
That's your boy, right? Is Kobe not your favorite player of all time?
No, Dirk is my favorite player of all time. Right. Kobe's up there.
Okay. Kobe.
What about Kobe?
Is Kobe efficient?
Yes, Kobe was efficient. I'll have you say. I want to mention this. Kobe. One second. Kobe shot 45% on the field his entire career up until the last few seasons when his numbers dipped off a little bit because he was coming off of Achilles tears and not being able to play any bit the same.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure we're staying on on track here. We're keeping it the same.
He wasn't like godly efficient like Steph Curry. Steph Curry is freaking efficient. Kevin Durant's amazingly efficient, but Kobe was efficient.
Okay, there you go.
Who's your number 7? It was Larry Markkinen. That's right.
The next Dirk.
No, that's not true. But
yeah. All right. How about this? We're gonna make a bet right now for everyone. This is recorded. Okay. If Lauri Markkinen averages 20 points a game and shoots 38 to 40% from 3 or better, then you will say that he's had a better start to his career than Dirk.
No, I'm not taking that bet. I don't care about your peer pressure because when you were saying that, I said that's fine. I said that's fine. But I think that those are pretty plausible numbers for Lauri Markkinen. But I don't think that means that his start of his career is better. His rookie season was better than Dirk's. That's about it.
All right, we're gonna move on. Okay, at number 6, I have R.J. Barrett.
Go ahead.
Okay. Are you
sure? You have my permission to proceed.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, a lot has already been said about R.J. Barrett. I think if he can knock down a higher percentage of his 3-point shots, I have no doubt that he'll be top 6 player in the NBA in 5 to 7 years. I think he has the work ethic. He has the mentality. He's strong. He's long. Yeah. I think that speaks for itself. At 5, I have John Morant. Who, potentially could be. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking we don't have any similarities on our list other than I think Trae Young.
Good. That's good. Besides number 1, I bet you our number 1 is the same.
Probably, but
good. This is gonna be fun. John Morant. Everyone talks about Russell Westbrook type athleticism. Plus, I think he's way more efficient. It's an insult to John Morant for him to be compared to Russell Westbrook, who's done nothing but brick shots his entire career
and MVPs and.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He won MVP when he averaged triple-double. Has he ever been a top 5 player in the NBA?
Probably 1 year.
No.
The year that he won the MVP.
Stop. That's a joke.
That's not a joke. That's actually I'm not being.
Stop.
Do I look like I'm joking?
Stop. You see, this is. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to go into that.
I got to look up his stats. You can continue going on. But
at number 4, I have Jamal Murray. Who? What?
I said, there we go. There's a guy on my list.
Yay. I think at this point he has a head start on Ja and RJ. I think you could probably move those three around depending on if you go another couple more years. I think RJ and Ja have higher ceiling than Jamal Murray, just based off of athleticism. But I think Jamal Murray, again, he improved this year. He's going to be on who we both think will be a stacked team. So hopefully his efficiency will continue to rise. Hopefully he'll get smarter with making decisions. Hopefully he'll start to take a little bit better shots. But yeah, we're both super high on him, I think. At number 3, I have Zion, just based off of potential and explosiveness. I don't think it's really close. I don't think Ja or RJ will ever probably get to Zion's level. Just because Zion, at the very least, is going to be an athletic freak that can play really good defense. So at the very least, he's, a star, an all-star. I think that one speaks for itself. At number 2, I have my boy De'Aaron Fox, who will be the best point guard in the NBA in 5 years. It's not even close. He's fast. He can pass, can play defense. He's developing shooting. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's a joke that no one talks about him. Yes, go ahead.
No,
okay.
I'm surprised by someone you're leaving off the list, but I'll get to that when I do my list.
Okay. At number 1, I have Luka Doncic.
Right.
In 5 years, I would argue that he will be approaching the best player in the NBA. Depends how Giannis develops a jump shot. But in today's NBA, you have to have some sort of threat to shoot. Plus, I think Luka will always be the number 1 guy on his team. I honestly think he'll be a smarter defender than most people will give him credit for. A lot of people act like he's going to have to be hidden on defense, and I disagree with that. I think he can just, at the very least, become an above-average defender based on just intelligence. Oh, shit. Hang on.
Well, just one thing that I have to say, this is completely off topic, but apparently LeBron is planning on keeping number 23. I'm getting this update. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's just kind of funny how everyone was making a big deal about that and saying that, oh, that's such a good teammate thing to do. Now he's keeping number 23. I just think that's kind of funny. I'm going to look at what the reasons are. Oh, there it is. Will be postponed for a season due to production issues.
What?
That's funny. LeBron, I'm reading a Bleacher Report update that says Bron's plan to gift AD his number 23 jersey will be postponed for a season due to production issues.
Oh!
That's really funny, just because that was supposed to be like, oh, look at LeBron giving number 23, and we were gonna see him go to number 6 or whatever.
Wait, what the hell? That's actually serious?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, I think production issues. That's really funny because Anthony Davis, I guess, doesn't. I don't know what that means, but.
Oh, that sucks. I wanted to see number 6, Bron, but yeah. Anyway, Luka will be the best player. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, so I can
Sounds good.
destroy your trash picks.
Let's see. Who was your number 10?
Trae Young.
Jaren.
Oh no, Jaren Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got DeAndre Ayton, who I think is a little bit better than Jaren Jackson right now, and I think that his potential is higher. I think he's a little bit more aggressive, better rebounder, not as good of a defender though. But I think that his jump shot it has potential. Jaren Jackson has more potential, but I think that DeAndre Ayton is more aggressive, and I think that that'll catch up to Jaren Jackson at some point. But Jaren Jackson's right outside of mine. I'll talk about DeAndre Ayton though. I just think that he was the number one pick for a reason. His potential was off the mark, and he could be in the next 5 years one of the top 3 centers in the league. Karl Anthony Towns is up there. You got Jokic. I don't know if Embiid will hold up that long or not. We'll have to see. Mm-hmm. But Ayton, for a rookie season, he was pretty underrated actually. And that was only because Luka was there and Trae Young was doing better. So I've got DeAndre Ayton at my number 1. I think that he'll only get better. Jason Tatum is my number 9. Sorry, DeAndre Ayton at 10. Jason Tatum at number 9. Now I think that a lot of that hinges on this season. Jason Tatum has plateaued a little bit, but Jason Tatum has also shown enough signs of actually being capable of putting a team on his back for the most part. Signs of potential, signs of actually being able to be a priority guy on a team. Mm-hmm. This season it was a little weird because Kyrie Irving, that whole fit, Gordon Hayward, it didn't really work out. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of players who needed the ball. Jason Tatum was one of them. Hopefully that changes this season with Kyrie out. Maybe Gordon Hayward, the role will become a little bit more clear. I don't know. But Jason Tatum, I think, has star potential. Trae Young is my number 8. A lot of the same reasons as you. I think that I'm not super thrilled about his defense, but I do think that he has really good shooting potential. Mm-hmm. He averaged 8 assists in his first season. Mm-hmm. And so as a passer, he's already really solid. He's just an overall playmaker. Dynamic is a great word for Trae Young. And I think the only reason I don't have him higher is because of his defense and his size limitations. But even then, I think that he still could be a star. Steph Curry's not the biggest guy. He's not the Kemba Walker's not the biggest guy. He's not the best defensive guy, but he's able to make things work. And so I think that Trae Young could be in that kind of conversation. Maybe not the Steph Curry conversation, but he's a star in the making. And I got him at number 8. Number 7, we just saw him win a championship. We just saw him win Most Improved Player of the Year. Pascal Siakam. Now, I don't think he's a star yet. But where we saw him 1 season ago to where we saw him just a few months ago was pretty telling that he's been improving at a pretty amazing rate. And with Kawhi gone, with Kyle Lowry aging, I think this is the season where we get to see Pascal Siakam become more involved in that offense, and we'll see what his skills ultimately evolve into. He's kind of a combination of he's like a power forward. Yeah, he's a little bit of a Draymond Green type of guy, but better shooter. I think better scorer overall anyway. And so I think his potential is pretty solid. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he could be a star. So I have to put him on that list, especially as a champion and a big part of that championship. Number 6, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, what?
Oh!
Jamal Murray.
At what?
At number 6. Oh, please. You had Lowry marking at number 7. You had Wendell Carter, who no one cares about, over DeAndre Ayton, over Jaren Jackson.
DeAndre Ayton puts up empty stats.
So does what's his name? I'm forgetting his name already.
Who?
Wendell Carter. What has he done? They didn't even get to the playoffs. Where were his full stats?
I mean, they had a much better record than the freaking Phoenix Suns.
But what did they do? And what did he do to help them get to where they went?
Play defense.
What, for his 44 games?
Play defense.
Is that all? If you just play really solid defense, but you're not that good on offense, does that mean that you're better than?
He's a solid offensive guy, but
shot less than 50% at center.
Ayton will never touch him defensively, ever. DeAndre Ayton.
Wendell Carter did nothing in his rookie season.
And DeAndre Ayton did nothing in his rookie season.
DeAndre Ayton averaged 16 and 10.
Where literally it was him and Devin Booker. Can you name me the other guys that started with them on the Phoenix Suns?
Who cares? DeAndre Ayton, it was his rookie season. He shot close to 60% on I think it was 58%. Mm-hmm. He was more impressive in his rookie season than the Bulls center. What's his name? Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter is not a top 10 guy going forward. That's just not no. And Jamal Murray, you should be thankful that he's on my list because there's some good guys in this league. All right, not that he's on my list, that he's in my top 10, top 8. There are some good guys. We back in the playoffs at some point, we said that Jamal Murray, he's good, but we're worried that he's going to peak somewhere in the near future because he's been in the league 3 years. Mm-hmm. Maybe his max ceiling would be somewhere in the CJ McCollum area. Mm-hmm. That's not top 5 budding star potential, in my opinion.
That's better than Pascal Siakam, Trae Young, or I don't even know who else was on your list.
Yeah, it is better than Pascal Siakam, Trae Young. I said that it was better than Pascal Siakam, Trae Young, and DeAndre Ayton because Jamal Murray is at my number 6. Pascal Siakam is at 7. Trae Young is at 8.
At the very least, Jamal Murray is better than them. But if Jamal Murray doesn't plateau, then what?
What are you asking? I'm sorry.
Because you said Jamal Murray that we were worried, which is true. We were worried that
he could get up to, I think, 24 points a game.
Get to Damian Lillard level.
I don't think that he'll get to the Damian Lillard level, but I think that he could get somewhere between the Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum level, which is still really good.
Okay. All right.
But he's not my top 5 yet, and I'll give you the reasons why he's not in my top 5. One, you love defense. Jamal Murray is not that great of a defender, but he is a good offensive playmaker, and so for that reason alone, I have to put him in my top 10. Mm-hmm. As I said, if he gets to that 23, 24 points per game, that's awesome, and that puts them at a contending level with a guy like Jokic on that team. Both of us have Denver as the top team in the next 5 years.
Yes.
5 years from now, just the way that they're set up currently, and that's partially due to Jamal Murray. But the reason that I have Jamal Murray at 6 is just because I think that they're better players on their rookie contracts right now. Number 5 would be Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson, I think, undoubtedly has better potential than Jamal Murray. Mm-hmm. I think that he has maybe better potential than anybody on this list, if we're just being completely honest. But we do have some worries about him. There's a reason he's not number 1, and it's because we don't know much about his jump shot going into the season. As a matter of fact, we've seen him airball mid-range shots in the summer league, but it is just the summer league. You know, in his one season at Duke, he averaged over 20 points a game. He pretty much put that team, him and RJ Barrett put that team on their back. They didn't have any depth. Zion Williamson had literally 0 bad games. I think he had 1 bad half, and that was the one game that they lost because they couldn't afford to. That was not the one. They lost a few games, but to Michigan State, he had 1 bad half, and that shows you how much they needed Zion Williamson, and he stepped up the whole season. So someone with his athleticism, not just his athleticism, but his strength, and even his handling ability and his agility, everything that he has, I think that he has to be in my top 5, but because he hasn't played yet, I can't put him at number 1, 2, really 3. But my number 4 guy would be Donovan Mitchell. And the reason I have him there, once again, he's a great athlete. He can play defense. He averaged 23 points a game this season, and he's getting better each season. His shot is there. He's really another guy who I think is good at pretty much most things. We'll see what he becomes great at, if he can become great, but overall a great player, and I think that he's someone who's capable of winning a championship as one of the top guys on his team. I think he's proven more at this point than Jamal Murray has, Zion Williamson has, anybody really on this list. So that for that reason, because he's proven so much compared to these guys, and because he has really good potential, I have to keep him above all of those guys. But my number 4, hopefully this will appease you, De'Aaron Fox. Notice how when you say that he's going to be the best point guard in 5 years, I didn't laugh. I didn't shrug. I didn't kind of snicker. I didn't do anything because I don't necessarily agree with you. I don't disagree with you, though. I think that that's a pretty reasonable statement. If someone wanted to name me a better player in the next 5 years who will be a better point guard than him, I would love to hear that. But at this point, De'Aaron Fox is one of the better point guards in the league. He can play defense. He's really fast. He actually has developed a pretty respectable jump shot. When he was coming out of Kentucky, he was kind of questioned at his, with his 3-point percentage, and he actually had a pretty respectable 3-point percentage this year. Mm-hmm. And it's only going to be his 3rd season. His 2nd season, you made a case that he could have been most improved player of the year. Once again, I didn't laugh at that either because I think that's a respectable argument. And so at the rate that he's improving and with the potential that he has and the speed that he has and just the overall ability that he has to understand the game of basketball, my number 3. Number 2, got Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons is just like Jamal Murray. They both got extensions, but they're both on their rookie contract for their last season. And so he is someone who he won Rookie of the Year a year ago. In his 2nd season, I would have maybe had Donovan Mitchell just a bit higher only because Donovan Mitchell had a first season. It was first season, 2nd season, and I think that, in my opinion, that counts for something. But ultimately, he did win Rookie of the Year. He's a solid defender, solid passer, solid ball handler, solid guy around the rim, and really the only thing that he doesn't have is a jump shot right now. And I think that that's something that if he continues to work on, there are plenty of shooting specialists out there that I think could at least make it a respectable shot. It doesn't need to be 40% from 3-point shooting. It could be somewhere in the 33 to 35%. And as long as he has something that you have to take into consideration, he's someone I think that a lot of people think he's overrated. I think that he could end up being as good as anybody in the league. Just give him some time. I'm not saying that he will be, but I think that the potential is there, and I think that the production so far has been there. So he's my number 2. And the number 1, I agree with you, Luka Doncic. I actually tried my hardest to keep him. I didn't want to look biased. I didn't want to have him my number 1, but I honestly can't think of someone on the rookie contract yet who has been more impressive in their limited amount of time as Luka Doncic. We've talked about it multiple times. He's put up better raw stats than LeBron in his rookie season, and even efficiency as far as just offensive efficiency. His numbers are a little bit better than LeBron's rookie season.
Way better shooter.
I'm not expecting him to be better than LeBron when it's all said and done, but I think that's something that's really impressive.
I agree.
And you and I both agree. Some people actually thought that Luka Doncic might have a shorter ceiling than his peers. I disagree because when we look at Luka Doncic's numbers, he was averaging 21 points a game, 8 rebounds or so, and a lot of, I don't remember how many assists, but he was averaging a lot of numbers. But his efficiency numbers actually were still solid for a rookie, and they were better than Trae Young's, which is why I think that was ridiculous that people were putting him in there. But he could, if he becomes a 46% field goal shooter and like a 38% 3-point shooter, he'll probably be averaging like 26, 27 points a game.
Easily.
8 assists,
Easily.
8 rebounds. If he improves his consistency on shooting, he's going to be a top scorer in the league. I mean, that's not something we expected. We expected him to be more of a facilitating guy coming from the was it Real Madrid, I think is where he played.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal scorer, and he can do all the rest of those things.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I think you were going to say something, but what do you have to say?
Yeah, no, I just, a lot of people talked about they didn't know how well he would shoot the ball because, he played at Real Madrid, but that Spanish system is set up to where, there's not like a star on a team. It's very team oriented. Yeah. So, there was a lot of unknown with him coming in, but even the way he shot the ball, yeah, it wasn't the most consistent. But what people have to realize also is that literally no one else on that Maverick team, posed a threat to, create his own shot.
Especially after the trade.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he shot 33% from three, but he also shot seven a game and made 2.5 a game. So, at the very least, his shooting motion, it's not like his shooting motion is not fluid or smooth. He averaged 21 points a game, and I expect his numbers to continue to rise, especially with Kristaps there. I expect his 3-point percentage to continue to rise. Everything I've heard about him comes off as him being someone that will work on these things. He's not going to settle for,